Hey guys, I'm back, just like I said I would be. Here is my video about what I thought about last night's emotionally wrecking, I can't even explain type of episode of the mid-season finale of The Walking Dead. Here is my warning. If you have not seen this episode, please stop watching now. I'm going to be majorly spoiling, majorly ranting, majorly just probably going to give everything away. Unless you've already seen the episode, then you know what happens. I do not want to be liable for anyone who has not seen the episode and then finds out what happens. Stay tuned, everyone who has to leave now. I'll be back soon. Alright, to anyone who is still there, where do I even begin? The beginning, of course. So, of course, instead of showing us the prison that we haven't seen in like 2 weeks, they show us, of course, the governor and his flippin' people again. I have this bright idea that we should go steal this prison from this group who destroyed my other town. No, it's not because I want to have revenge on the people in that prison. I just want you guys safe. I'm already rolling my eyes at this guy. Bullshit. So, of course, then he whips out, oh, and by the way, I captured 2 of their members. A bitch? Excuse me? No. Nuh-uh. And of course, it's Hershel and Michonne. Hershel, the most innocent guy in the entire world, he has 1 foot. A leg, part of a leg. He's missing something. He's on a fake limb. You had to take him? And then Michonne, I can understand, but really? Hershel? And of course, he somehow convinces his whole flippin' group that they need to take this person. While Lily has the bright idea of like, why don't we just stay here? Like, we're fine. We don't need to fight for a new place. And of course, Governor goes on like, oh, I'm doing it to protect you. Haha, bullshit. You want to like kill Rick? Duh. So of course, there's a scene with Michonne and Hershel and blah blah blah, and the governor, and Michonne's ready to like kill him, obviously, and Hershel's like, I know this isn't gonna go good, but I'm gonna stay calm. My heart was breaking, and I'm like, Hershel, you are a god. The governor, oh, I want to do this as calmly as possible. No, you don't, bitch. No, you don't. So finally we see the prison for the first time in a long time, and I'm excited because I miss everyone from the prison. And of course they show us a cute little scene between Maggie and Glenn and how Glenn's getting better and they're finally like able to interact again. It's super sweet and super cute, and those scenes are kind of like what make the show sometimes. And then we see the thing that I at least have been waiting for since Carol was banished, and that was the lovely reaction from Daryl, which honestly, okay, I love the 2 of them. Like, I love Carol and Daryl's like little connection. They do have a deep friendship. I won't go into that. That's another video, okay? I do just like seeing them together, and their little scenes are super adorable. And if you don't think that they are closer than some people, then obviously you have been watching a different show. I'm not saying it's romantic, but I'm also saying they do have a deeper friendship than some people, okay? Fair enough? Awesome. So here is Rick finally telling Daryl, like, what the heck happened. And I think his reaction was actually quite perfect, because, you know, if you're, like, season 1, when they told him of Merle missing, you know, vanishing, getting stuck at the place, he went full-on redneck, like, throwing a fit, ready to kill someone. He was mad and ready to, like, flippin' freak out. And now we see him in season 4 where he is mad, you can tell, but he's so much more calm about it. Like, you can see how much he has now grown from season 1, and I find that so awesome. And he's kind of telling Rick, like, he's pretty much shooting down every point Rick has to his, like, decision. Because Daryl, who thought that he could easily do this on his own, is like, no one can be alone in this world, no matter how strong you are. If the badass redneck, who most likely is the most prepared out of anyone in the entire world, is saying you can't do this on your own? Don't you think you can't do this on your own? And then, so pretty much at this point, Rick's only defense is, what would Tyrese do? And of course, just like Carol, Daryl's like, I could have handled that. So then they go to find out his reaction, where Daryl's not saying, like, let's go break it to him. He's like, let's go find out what his reaction is. And because if it's wrong, if Rick's wrong, he's got nothing. And I'm pretty sure if the governor hadn't intervened, Daryl would have gone and, like, looked for him. Anyways. Totally, like I said, totally different video. I'll be on that soon. So now, all of a sudden, the creepy rat calling, that's Lizzie, and I'm putting that if Carol didn't kill Karen and David, it was definitely Lizzie, because she's psycho. Anyways, so now here's the governor at their front door, like, knock knock, guess what? Guess who's back? Back again. Eminem moment. Okay, so here he is, like, in his tank, his mighty tank. And he's like, Rick, I need to talk to you. I don't make the decisions anymore. And for a moment, I was kind of like, well, you did make the decision to banish Carol on your own. Whatever. Anyways, he's like, there's a council now. Well, are Herschel and Michonne part of this council? Yeah. Here come Herschel and Michonne, tied up and, like, kneeling on the ground. Finally, Rick's like, maybe I should go talk to this guy. So he walks down and blah, 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 start talking. And I give Rick a lot of props for trying to do this as calm as possible. But I kind of thought at one point Rick should have just been like, fine. Especially when the governor whipped out the sword, like, and brought it to Herschel's neck. I was, like, screaming at the TV, like, Rick, just let it go. But sadly, he doesn't. And that's when all my, like, heart stopped almost. And the governor took the sword to Herschel's neck. And I'll be perfectly honest, I was on the ground crying. I can't even explain to you how I felt. It was a rough thing. Because Herschel, in my mind, was like Dale and was the only little bit. Okay, I don't think everyone's lost their humanity, but Herschel was a key thing to the group's humanity. And now he's gone. And Scott Wilson, you're a fantastic actor. You're a legend, according to Norman Reedus, which I agree 100%. You will be missed tremendously. And Herschel, may you rest in peace. You are a great man. So, of course, that was that was it. And everybody full on, like, it's wartime. So, of course, Daryl was sneaky and gave everyone the guns, which I was like, good job, Daryl. That's my baby. And so everyone's like, let's go. Like, that was the last straw. And I'm actually kind of proud of Maggie and Beth, who had just watched their dad die, they were still capable of fighting. So props to you guys. So now all hell's breaking loose. And of course the writers toy with us and show, like, Herschel's still actually, like, moving. And we get that little bit of hope. Like, oh my gosh, maybe he's gonna make it. No, they rip that away and have the governor come and chop his head off and at least hack at him too many times. I don't really count because I wouldn't want to watch. And then, of course, Lily brings her dead daughter, which that scene alone just destroyed me because the governor just went on this huge rant about how he's going to keep those two alive and blah, blah, blah. And here comes Megan. It was Sophia all over again. And I'm in tears, and he just shoots her like there's nobody's business. And Lily's, like, scarred, and her sister's like, what are we doing? Like, you saw her, like, hiding and crap like that. Well, Michonne finally gets her sword back, but then she disappears for a little while. So everyone's fighting, and everyone's trying to get to this bus, like Daryl planned. Well, Maggie gets Beth to the bus, and she goes off to get Glenn, and tells Beth, like, stay on the bus. Beth doesn't stay on the bus, and I'm like, Beth, you're supposed to be a smart girl. Stay on the bus. She doesn't, though. She has to go round up the kids. So Maggie comes back with Glenn, and she's like, stay here, because Glenn, is still sick. And we actually don't know if he knows Herschel's dead. So that'll be interesting to see. So, of course, as Maggie's looking for Beth, the bus leaves. Just leaves. And so I'm sitting there like, great, that's the first group. So that's when I knew like everyone was going to get separated. It's kind of like Herschel's Farm all over again. So Glenn is now with whoever the heck is on the bus. And Maggie's caught up with Sasha, Bob, and at the moment Tyrese. Now Bob's shot, which, side note, I don't trust Bob whatsoever. No. So anyways, she's with them, and they start limping away because everyone agrees, like, well, they just need to get out of there. Tyrese separates for a moment to go find, like, I don't know why he separated. I don't remember quite exactly, but I know the kids caught up with him. And here's what I got out of that little scene. Tyrese is actually about to die, and out of nowhere, Lizzie and Mika come and save his ass. And you know who taught them that? Carol. Just saying. And I kind of find that interesting because if Carol meets up with them again and finds out, like, Tyrese doesn't know Carol killed Karen, but also she's the one that taught Mika and Lizzie, so technically, indirectly, Carol just saved his ass. So maybe I'm making stuff up, or maybe we'll see that next episodes. Keep wanting to see next season, but it's not the next season. So anyways, now Tyrese runs after the kids. So it's Tyrese and the kids, or at least Mika and Lizzie, and possibly Judith. I think that's where Judith went. So that's one other group. Then there's Daryl and Beth, which I'm not really sure, like, how that just happened. It kind of just happened. Okay, first off, the writers scare the living shit out of us by having, like, this walker coming up behind Daryl as he's shooting at these people, and I'm flipping the crap out, like I'm running around the room. Of course, our redneck, badass, saves his ass, uses the walker as a shield, and it's just awesomeness. And then he takes out that tank, and then he takes out Mitch with it. I love that man so much. So then he catches up with Beth, and I mean, I'm glad he, like, didn't stick around. He's like, we gotta go. And I'm kind of hoping, like, since I saw this on Tumblr, and I thought it was a great point, that maybe since he's with Beth, who's kind of like the childish, emotional character, almost, we'll see a little bit of emotion coming out from him. I almost wonder if, like, he got Judith, because remember, he, like, always take care of the ass kicker, you know, stuff like that. So maybe that's where Judith went, not totally sure. But I know Beth and Daryl are out together. So then, while all this is happening, Rick and the governor have their showdown. And honestly, for a moment, I thought Rick was a goner. I thought he was a goner. Then here comes Michonne to save the day and through with her sword right through the governor, and finally we're all cheering for once in this episode that the governor is finally dying. Now, I know Rick runs away because he needs to go find Carl, and Rick's beaten, shot, but all he cares about is Carl, and that kind of warmed my heart a little bit. And Michonne just kind of sticks back and, like, looks at the governor. It's just like, she could have chopped his head off and ended it, but she wanted him to suffer. And I was like, good idea. So actually, Michonne's on her own. We don't know where Michonne went. She might actually leave now. Not that I'm really thinking that, but you know how she'd always separate herself from the group and, like, go on her runs? And Rick's always like, or Daryl was always like, are you actually going to come back this time? So she could quite honestly be gone for all we know. Now it's just, you know, whatever. So she's on her own, and then Rick finds Carl, and honestly, that scene, that hug, I was bawling my eyes out. And then they find Judith's car seat, and it was just so emotional, like, I can't even, I was crying so hard. But I'm glad at least Rick and Carl are together, even though they're both, like, freaking out. And Rick's like, don't look back, Carl, don't look back. And you just see the prison crumble to the ground. Oh, and also, don't forget how Lily took out the governor was the final shot, and I thought that was very ironic and a very great way to put him down. Rest in hell, Governor. David Morrissey, I love you though. Don't get me wrong, just didn't like your character. I loved how the last scene was actually just seeing the whole prison it was crumbling down. It was gone. It's going to be really interesting to see what happens next. Okay, I have not read the comics, but people have told me or I've seen online the theory of cannibals. And I actually find that super intriguing. That may sound a little weird, but I find it super intriguing and I kind of hope that's what happens next. I know the character Abraham is supposed to come into play this next half of the season. I'm wondering if Carol met up with their group and that's how we're going to get introduced to her again. I really don't know. Like I said, this is all my opinion, what I kind of want to happen, all that kind of stuff. I'm hoping the group had a plan and do all meet up and everyone's okay. We don't lose anyone on the way. I don't know. I'm wondering if Daryl, I saw this on Tumblr, Daryl's gonna leave, well, either drop off Beth or he's gonna go find Carol. I don't really. There's just so many things that could happen. I don't even know if I should be predicting anymore. So there you have it, guys. Our lovely prison group is now down a fantastic man. They are all separated. Majority of them are injured. It's gonna be crazy this next 6 episodes. And we have 2 months to stew in all the possibilities. I would love to hear what you have to say about what happened last night. What are your thoughts? What are your predictions? Let me hear it. I'm open to anything, really, as long as you don't hate on you don't have to agree with my theories, just please, I don't need the, hate. You get what I mean. Share with me your opinion. What do you think's gonna happen? Where it's gonna happen next? Who's gonna make it? 2 months, my lovelies. It's a long time to think. I love you all. I hope you find my little rant a little interesting. I know it felt good to get it all out there. I will be back soon. I'm not quite sure where I'm headed from here, but who knows? Give me some options. I love you all and thank you for watching, and I'll see you soon.